Milton has re-intensified this afternoon and is now an extremely dangerous Category 5 hurricane. We've had data from the Hurricane Hunter aircraft in here just in the last hour indicating that the maximum sustained winds are now back up to 165 miles per hour. The pressure down to 905 millibars as we've seen this storm intensify. Satellite presentations improving, the eye is clearing out. Milton is moving off to the east-northeast now at about 9 miles per hour, currently about 475 miles southwest of Tampa. Now, the forecast for Milton has not really changed very much. We're still expecting a powerful hurricane to reach the coast of Florida as we get into the late evening hours tomorrow night or the early morning hours on Thursday. So let's start first with the storm surge hazard. We've been talking about this for the last couple of days. There's a storm surge warning in effect for almost the entire west coast of Florida from Flamingo up to Suwannee River. We're very concerned about this area from Bonita Beach up to Chassahowitzka, where we could see an excess of 5 feet of inundation above ground level. And in this purple area, basically from Pinellas County, Hillsborough County, Tampa Bay, Sarasota, Manatee County, somewhere in this region is going to experience 10 to 15 feet of inundation above ground level. This is destructive, life-threatening storm surge, not a safe environment to stay in. So if you are in one of those storm surge evacuation zones along the west coast of Florida, please heed that evacuation advice. If you've been asked to leave by your local officials, get out as soon as you can. You do not want to be staying in these very dangerous environments. So let's talk a little bit about what that kind of storm surge looks like. So we're talking 10 to 15 feet. So that's well above the height of any person, up to the above a 1 to even getting into the second story of a building. And it's not just the water. It's not going to be filling up like a bathtub. This is water that's going to violently be pushed onshore from the Gulf of Mexico with destructive wave action on top of it. And you're going to have structural damage to buildings. Some buildings will wash away. Evacuation routes will be quickly cut off. We've lost people to storm surge in previous hurricanes who are trying to get out at the last minute and they drown in their cars. So please do not stay in these environments, in this unsafe area. Get out now while you still can. Remember, you only have to drive usually tens of miles, not hundreds of miles, to get to a safe location outside a surge evacuation zone. Now let's move on to the wind threat. We talked about how the wind field of Milton is going to double in size, and that's going to bring the risk of damaging hurricane-force winds to much of the central and northeastern portions of the Florida Peninsula. We have a hurricane warning in effect on the west coast from Bonita Beach northward to Suwannee River, and along the east coast from St. Lucie County up to Ponte Vedra Beach. And that warning also includes inland portions of central Florida, the entire I-4 corridor from Tampa to Orlando to Daytona, Melbourne, down towards St. Lucie, down to Sarasota, down to Port Charlotte, and up north to Ocala, Palm Coast, and St. Augustine, with the potential for devastating wind damage where the core of Milton makes landfall along the west coast, and widespread potential for tree damage, wind damage to structures, power lines down. Widespread power outages expected across much of central Florida beginning Wednesday night and into Thursday. Now let's talk about the rainfall threat. Even though Milton's going to be moving relatively quickly and move across Florida as a hurricane, we're expecting widespread rainfall totals of 5 to 12 inches across much of central and northeastern Florida, near and to the right of the track of the left of the track of the center, near and to the north. Some isolated totals could be right along this I-4 corridor, could reach as high as 18 inches. And so there is a high risk of what we call flash flooding. And this is an area here where you see it in pink, Ocala, just south of Ocala, Orlando, Tampa, Sarasota. This is an area where we have the risk of catastrophic, life-threatening flooding, flash and urban flooding due to this heavy rainfall.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.